Morning. So, welcome everyone wherever you are in the world. We're here on our third panel as we attempt to crowdfund for the sales and marketing of Lead the Way. We've got the director here, Richard L. Anderson, who's going to tell us
Hi,
everything.
everybody.
Hi,
Welcome
everyone.
from Los Angeles, California.
Right. And I'm over in London, UK. So, yep, the weather's looking okay over here. How is it over there, Richard?
Not bad. A little overcast, but hopefully it'll sun will poke through later in the morning.
Let's hope so. Yeah, it's good to see some sunshine. Tell us about the film. How's it looking at the moment?
Well, it's almost done. We completed our sound mix with surrounds and all on Thursday, and we have a little bit of work to do on the tail credits, and then it's done.
Cool.
It's ready to go. I had held off. We were waiting for some. We have some shots we did with green screen in the movie that we couldn't do because of either a budgetary constraints, or one was sort of a fantasy location that I wanted in the movie, and there was nowhere we could ever shoot it in
Mm.
reality, any rate. So I was waiting for the visual effects guys to finish that. So that
So,
when
yeah,
people watch the movie, they don't suddenly see the actors in front of a green screen going, What's this supposed to be?"
no, nobody wants to see that. We need the willing suspension of disbelief there, definitely. Yeah,
Right, but I think it's looking good. Like I said, it's finally finished, and I'll be ready to go. So we're going to
awesome.
try and
Well, by
get a
about
distributor or distributors so we can have the movie available around the world.
exactly, and that's what we're crowdfunding for, and we want to tell people how excited we are about this. I mean, we were talking with Eugene earlier about the electricity and stuff and some of the scenes, and do you want to tell us a little bit about how it was with the cast? I mean, directing during the pandemic.
Well, we had to do a lot. Interestingly, we're producing also a little, call it, I guess you call it an educational film about
Mm,
that for
yeah.
people who, because we were one of the earlier films to shoot during COVID.
Hmm.
So that's another project going on. But anyway, we had to wear masks and those plastic face shields
Yeah.
um, when we were on the set with like actors, because the actors would have to take their masks off. Obviously, we didn't want a bunch of people walking around like this. So,
Definitely.
yeah, the movie is set in modern day in an election year in the United States, but it's a generic election, and we didn't want it to be COVID related. So I wanted to remove any look of the COVID with people running around with masks in the movie. So
Yeah,
it isn't a product just
definitely.
of 2020. It's a product of any election year. And of course, every other day we had to get tested for COVID before we
Mm,
shot, and every morning they took our temperature and all. And but I should say that we did really well. Nobody got sick. I
hmm
hadn't even heard a story someone caught a cold. So
yeah, exactly. 'Cause we've got the
so
same. I haven't caught cold or winter, so yeah,
yeah.
it's all the precautions. Mm.
Everything worked out well, and we got through the on schedule, on time, on budget. Well,
Mm.
you're always a little over budget, but I
Well,
approve the overages.
how did you find all of the COVID related issues surrounding the schedule? I mean, did it make the schedule a lot shorter of how much you could shoot during the day?
What it prohibited us from was crowd scenes. We
Hmm.
couldn't shoot crowd scenes, which you can imagine in a movie about a political campaign. You kind of need to have crowds.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
we had I think 10 extras in the movie,
Okay,
and
that's not
which
many.
isn't a very large thing. So we supplemented them in post production with additional people, and then shots of crowds and things, and
Mm,
hopefully though it'll all blend together and people will buy it as one event.
let's hope so.
But
So I mean,
that was, I'd say, of the most difficult thing for us was we couldn't, obviously this is not a large budget movie, but we couldn't get large groups of people even if we wanted to.
yeah, exactly. So it's a big restraint. But I mean, we've covered a lot of that in the green screen shots and things. We found a way around it, didn't we?
Yes, yes.
Mm,
It all worked out. Though this isn't a heavy green screen movie like Star Wars or The Mandalorian, or I understand like on that show it's like almost every shot's a green screen shot and they
mm,
put the background in. We had actually very little, which is good. I think actors do better in a real location. I
yeah,
know, you know,
but where it brings it
actors in
more to
general don't
life.
like acting in front of a green screen because they don't
There's
it
this,
doesn't inspire them.
yeah, there's not
You know,
nothing for
I
them to
mean,
play off.
yeah, I mean, there's there's
Mm,
there's certain plays like Our Town or something where the movie takes place. I mean, excuse me, the play takes place on a blank stage, and then they'll have like minimal props, and that's the look of as designed by the playwright.
hmm.
But most actors, if you talk to them, they hate standing in front of a green screen going, "Look, it's coming!" You know, there's nothing there. You know.
Yeah, you got to make it as real as possible. I mean, I know Steven Spielberg does whatever he can to get the right performance, even scaring kids however very well.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I mean, we've all heard the story from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Mm.
Yeah.
We actually
And
made him
sometimes
cry.
you have to do that. So,
Mm. Yeah, whatever it takes to get the performance right.
uh-huh.
So can I just ask you, Richard, did the story change a lot from script to screen?
No, because I was started working with Eugene last fall. No, I mean, excuse me, 2 falls ago. We
Hmm.
shot last fall. Anyway, on his script that he had at that point, and so I kind of between the two of us, we kind of made it the version that we wanted to shoot.
Hmm.
And we
Hmm.
pretty much shot everything in the script. We cut a few things entirely, but it's pretty much the script that the script that was shot was written was what we shot.
Hmm.
So I
That's
mean, but
that's.
obviously, when you're on the set working with the actors, you come up with something. Well, what if you came in from there?
Mm,
Hey, oh, it'd be better if you said this line. And you go,
hmm.
yeah. And then sometimes, actors will just say something in the heat of the moment, and
Yeah.
and it's great because they are that character.
Hmm.
You know.
Exactly. I mean, as long as you got the time for improvisation and things like that. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have a lot of time,
No.
but yeah, I've never been a stickler on the script. Like no, no, no. That's the line is let's go to the store, not come on to the store. We have
Yeah.
to reshoot the
Yeah.
whole scene because it's
No.
like
No. No. No.
as long as the actor gets the gist of the scene and it feels right and they're in the moment, then fine. Who
Mm,
cares?
yeah. As long as
We
it
have
feels
one
natural
scene
and
in
it
the movie
cut together.
which was a lot of fun, but also a lot of it was kind of terrifying. It was a continuous scene. It goes on for a while. It's supposed to be an interview, um, where the guy's being interviewed by the press. So it's shot from as if it was a TV camera, and the camera keeps rolling, and the interview is going, and things start happening, and it gets kind of crazier and crazier. So that was like a really long take.
Hmm.
So and the actors did an amazing job. I have to say they did an amazing job. But sometimes they would say a line slightly different, or slightly different version. But it all worked because it was supposed to be an interview, and the actress we had who played the interviewer is an actual interviewer.
Hmm.
She
Hmm.
mainly does sports interviews here in LA,
Mm,
but she was really good and she knew how to interview people, and so she could kind of just go,
hmm.
you know.
Yeah, and you
And
can see her in the trailer, can't you?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Gavrina Catalina, yeah, she's
Mm.
really good, and she kind of kept the energy up and all, and Simon looked
Loco, loco.
right, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Looked
yeah.
appropriately bewildered because he's not used to being dealing with people and being
Mm,
certainly not being on camera and stuff. And I thought
mm.
Simon did a great job looking lost.
Yeah, yeah, he did, didn't he? He's blind as well, so his eyes are just kind of like, hang on a minute, where am I?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is Simon really, really looked good at that? I mean, at one point somebody said, "Well, maybe we should have him wear dark glasses," a la
Mm,
the real blind people. He's in the movie. He's legally blind, not blind, which
Just on
means
that cusp.
right. He can see light and shapes, kind of, but he's like extremely out of focus or something. So anyway, I felt that I didn't want him to be wearing black, the traditional dark glasses like you see blind people wearing, because he can see like general shapes and light and dark, and so that would certainly help him get around. And I felt that he could do it. So he appropriately is amazing. He looks like he is blind. He doesn't like look at the person.
I think it's a great high concept altogether, and I think that's why people want to see this movie. You know, a legally blind autistic man, the perfect candidate for president. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I think it's just an awesome high concept, 'cause it's got that irony in there that really, drives you to go, hang on a minute, is that possible?
Right. Well, as he said, Franklin Roosevelt was in a wheelchair, though at the time most people didn't know it. It was
That's
really
true.
covered up.
That's true.
Whereas
Yeah.
at least in the movie, Patrick Lee, that's his character name, admits that he's legally blind, so he's
Yeah.
not pulling one over on the public.
Definitely. So, I mean, can I ask, what positive message do you think this film has to give to the world?
I think it shows that I guess anybody can get involved in a movement, whether it's a social movement or a political movement or anything like that, that anybody can do it if they're motivated enough, if it's important to them. That if you decide you want to do something, not just necessarily saying you can achieve it, but that you can get involved and create some sort of
Following.
a following. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
whatever it is, I mean, people, climate change or a political movement or whatever, people go out and they do it, and then so the fact that you don't have to be a natural leader, you don't have. I mean, you hopefully can have some leadership skills, develop them, but I mean, you don't have to be the best looking person who's used to being like the class president and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
The leader of the
Sure.
firm and those kind of things, who are traditionally the people who start movements. There's a
So
lot of movements that have come from just like housewives.
it sounds like it definitely pumps out that positive Hollywood feel-good ending, more or less.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say it's a feel good ending.
Yeah.
Definitely. Our model was kind of like were Frank Capra films from the 30s and 40s, like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, Meet John Doe, those kind of movies, which were somewhat political, but it was in the end it's more about the characters. We in the movie. Patrick Lee is not recognized as like a liberal Democrat or a conservative Republican or he's sort of somewhere in the middle, and he doesn't actually have a party per se, and
He's just got his nation.
Right, what he believes in is solving problems, regardless of what the problem is and that's what we look to government to do. We want government to solve a problem, like we're having a problem with another country. Someone's got to get out there and talk to the other country and resolve this problem. Or we have a problem with pollution, say, how are we going to do this? Because the pollution affecting me comes from somewhere 500 miles away. So I can't.
Well, it's all
It may
around
be
us
a
now. There's
different
no escape.
political jurisdiction, like in the U.S. it could be a different state, So we need a government to do certain things that we as individuals or local people can't do. But ultimately it's about finding solutions to problems, whatever those solutions are.
Which really validates the solution film. I mean, me and Eugene had a talk last week about the whole new genre and how it identifies with the world today and really puts solutions to problems out there that we want solved. So, I mean, what's your take on this as redefining a genre?
Well, I don't know. It certainly shows that you can find solutions to problems, or at least many problems. Um, but it also has elements of other films in it. It certainly has sort of rom-com elements to it. It's a dramedy, I'd say, is a good description of the movie. It's alternately comedy and then gets serious. Um, it has a lot of elements to the film. I think it would appeal to a general audience. I don't want to call it just a solution film and make it sound like it's going to be some sort of technical how to do movie, that
No,
kind
it's
of
got to
thing.
fit into what's already been established somewhat. Yeah.
Right. It was important to me that the movie be very entertaining to an average audience.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if a 2-year-old would follow it, but from children up, I'd say.
Yeah. So a family movie.
Yeah, yeah. There's nothing in the movie that's really objectionable. I think somebody says "son of a bitch" at one point. That's
Okay.
about as worse
We,
we get on profanity, and there's no nudity. So I've
mm,
probably killed a lot of viewers there that are hoping to see some of these women nude. But
well, let's
anyway,
hope
but
not.
it's not about that kind of a movie.
No,
So
not at all. It is. I mean, you still need to get rated yet, don't you? So, yeah.
yeah,
Mm, mm,
but I like it because like I says, it gives hope. It gives hope to people that you're not just a number, that you can, if you want to do something, you can achieve something, or you have a good chance anyway.
okay.
But like I said, it's a fun film. I think everybody will like it, and the actors did a fabulous job. He really looks Simon really looks blind when he says
Mm,
he wears these goggle things on that are electronic, called New Eyes, which is an actual product, and he can see with those.
Well, it's an
Um,
actual product in real
it's an
life. Or,
actual product. Yes,
right.
one thing we
Mm,
tried to do in the movie was get actual products that most people don't know about.
mm,
We have this weird kind of, say weird because it's kind of small, but this little four-wheel electric bicycle that runs off solar electricity, and
mm,
that's his car he drives around in the
mm,
movie.
mm,
Um, Eugene, who wrote the movie, had previously done a documentary about electrical bicycles, so
mm.
he knew about this. So we tried to get a lot of products in the movie that some of which really exist.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So, what's the name of the car again? The vehicle?
it was called, I think, a Pebble.
A Pebble. Okay,
Pebble.
so
It was
that's
like
that's actually
something
something
like it was
people
an
ride around in.
abbreviation. It was an
Mm,
abbreviation for something. Anyway,
mm. Well,
yeah,
if you don't know what a Pebble is, have a look at the trailer and you'll see Patrick Lee driving around in it, and also his new eyes, which do actually exist. Mm.
yeah, amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Richard, for joining us today. It's been a
It
very,
was a
very interesting
pleasure.
talk. Absolute pleasure. So yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I just hope that people will respond to this film and help us out a little bit with the crowdfunding, and so
definitely.
we can get this movie in theaters or downloads near you, as
Yeah,
they used to say
exactly.
on the advertising. Theaters or drive-ins near you.
Drive-ins near you. I miss
Yeah.
those days, unfortunately. But
Yes.
yeah, okay. Thanks a lot, Richard, and
All right. Thank you very much, James.
we'll see you soon. No
Okay.
worries.
Bye. Bye,
Bye, bye,
everybody.
bye, bye, everyone.